My dear friends, we love you so very much. Never are you alone, nor are you ever guided into difficult situations by the divine. You are never being tested, nor do you need to reach for your enlightenment. You are simply vibrating and attracting. You are all seeking to be the loving beings that you truly are. And the more you align with love, the more you will attract easier, kinder, and if you find yourself in the midst of a challenge, it doesn't necessarily mean you are in a low vibration right now. You may have positioned yourself in the place and situation you are in when you were in a different vibration. If the situation around you no longer matches the vibration you are in now, things will change. This is just how the universe works. For example, suppose you are flying high right now and shocked to find a long-term friendship suddenly falling apart. It doesn't mean you are vibrating at a low level. It might mean that you are at a higher vibration now and are no longer a match for one another. Suppose you met your friend during a very difficult time in life. The two of you commiserated together, drank together, or complained together, or perhaps your friend tried to rescue you out of a need to be needed. We have no judgments about any of these things. They are often steps to soothing yourself along a path towards better. Suppose, however, that over the years, you grow, you become more empowered, happier, and less judgmental. You no longer need anyone to rescue you. When you get together, you are eager to share the good news, while your friend is still in a space of worry, complaints, or other habits you've outgrown, or perhaps they're still trying to find something to fix when you no longer need fixing. Even at a 3D level, you can see that the gap between you, if it is large enough, then sooner or later, you will have to lower your vibration, or they will have to raise theirs if you wish to meet in the 3D vibrational space. If the gap becomes large enough, the laws of the universe will find a way to move you apart. This is not cruel, dear ones. It is simply the way the universe works. When you are not on the same wavelength, it is difficult to connect. Nonetheless, you can always connect in the vibrational frequency of love. Choosing to love someone who is being difficult is a choice to connect with them at the deepest level. When you love, you connect with your deepest self. You connect with your soul. You connect with something deeper in the other than they are currently demonstrating. If the relationship no longer matters to you, move on to easier ones. However, if the gap has formed between your spouse and your child, you may want to meet at a deeper level. You may want to consciously look at all there is to love about them, so as to maintain a connection and even provide an opportunity for their upliftment. Just consider the example of the friendship above. Suppose this friend really mattered to you. You could choose to love them as is. You could choose to love yourself by simply beaming compassion and love to them as they complain. Once in love, you are aligned with you. In love, you can't take on anyone's density. As you flow love and good feelings, you make no room to resonate with unloving words and bad feelings. Again, this is a choice, and we have no judgment about your choices. You must, dear ones, learn to accept others as they are if you choose to be around them, or you will drive yourselves crazy. The soul accepts everyone as they are because the soul sees the light and truth within them. The soul sees every being reaching for more. No matter how unevolved or unloving their behavior, you can see the light within and still move on. You can choose to love as your soul does, while loving your human self enough to do what is kindest for you. You are not holier if you stay in a relationship that no longer resonates with you. You do, however, have the capacity to be in any relationship that you choose if you can find agreement with your own spirit, if you can be in a space of love and compassion. Aligned with your soul, you can be in any relationship and still be happy. This does not guarantee the other will behave or even stay, but it does mean that you will feel good no matter what. A funny thing happens too, in such cases, when people feel true unconditional love, the love that bears witness to their goodness, their caring heart, their talent, and the light hidden beneath their upset, anger, frustration, fear, and pain. They often step up and show you better. Again, there are no guarantees about the other's behavior, but when you are aligned with your loving spirit within, you feel good. Dear ones, you get to choose where to place yourself on this earth and who to be around, and you get to choose how you show up vibrationally in each situation. On where you are in 3D today, dear ones, is simply the result of all the choices along your path. How you vibrate now in 5 determines how you will experience your present moment regardless of how you got there. So, if you like your present situation, enjoy it, love it, appreciate it, and thus more will flow. If you don't like your present situation, change it or change you. Move to a more loving situation or shift to a more loving vibration. Shift your physical reality or shift your focus. As you make these choices, you continue to create a reality with greater and greater love, which in turn will always attract better. In the ideal world, you'd practice a loving vibration so thoroughly that you could turn it on anywhere or with anyone. As a result, you'd be able to coax the love out of any situation and constantly attract better. No one in heavens expects this of you, but we encourage you to constantly practice choosing situations, things, and above all, thoughts that feel. We want only the best for you, and however you find the vibration of love, internally or externally, you become closer to allowing yourself an experience of heaven on earth. God bless you. We love you so very much. The angels, how time is changing. Part of the shift, the new reality, involves a change in our experience of the passage of time. People often comment on how time seems to be passing much faster today than it did just 10 or 20 years ago. It's not because we're getting older. It's because our experience of time is changing. This is occurring because the frequency of human consciousness is rising. So the experience of the passage of time has accelerated. The speed of the orbit of the planets is still the same. The speed of light is still the same. And everything in the outside world is still the same. But our experience has changed. Experiential time is the experience of time, as in time flies or time drags. It is subjective, as opposed to the objective time of the outside world. Our internal experience of the passage of time can vary considerably. When a person is not happy in their work, for example, the time clock on the wall seems to take forever to turn, and the end of the working day seems to take an eternity to arrive. On the other hand, when a person is joyful and excited about what they are doing, their consciousness is vibrating at a higher frequency, and for them, the experience of time flies at a fast rate. As they say, time flies when you're having fun. Energetically, the difference is that joy is expressed through higher, heart-centered consciousness, while boredom takes one deep into the lower frequency of the solar plexus center of consciousness. When you are bored, your perception of time runs slowly because your consciousness vibrates at a slower frequency. When you are filled with joy and engaged in favorite activities with people you love, your consciousness vibrates at a higher frequency and your perception of time runs more quickly. The principle at work here is that the perception of experiential time varies with frequency of consciousness. Experiential time runs faster at higher frequencies. Why the difference matters. The shift from old reality consciousness to new reality, heart-centered consciousness, includes a shift in our perception of time. Heart-centered consciousness brings with it an increasing degree of freedom from objective time. It makes life's experiences more important to your consciousness than the passage of time. Life becomes a chain of experiences which seem to expand and contract the time that they take to occur. The objective time continuum is the same, but the perception of the experience is different. The key to understanding this is that because life in the objective world is a projection of the greater reality that exists within you, then a shift to higher consciousness brings you closer to the reality. At that point, objective time loses some of its importance, and the inner experience of time takes on more importance. How timing will change in the future. As people's frequency of awareness rises up through fourth density consciousness, they will become more attuned to the synchronicity that is offered by an experiential approach to time. The more people become mentally attuned to others, the more they manifest synchronicity in their lives. Eventually, when experiential time is given more attention than objective time, people will arrange to meet each other, not by making appointments in their calendars, but by both knowing when the time is right for such a meeting. Network, the attuned person will know from their soul-fed intuition which task is most important for them to address right at that moment, and this will lead to even more synchronicity with the minds of other intuitively driven people. The reason intuition works. The intuitive mind senses the reality of all situations in ways that the objective mind of the physical senses cannot. When a situation develops into fruition, in which it can best be addressed for most effect, the intuitive mind has that perfect sense of timing and can help all those involved in handling the situation. In fourth density, heart-centered consciousness, because more attention is placed upon the inner reality than the outer world of clockwork motion, life becomes more fluid and less rigid, based upon an intuitive sense of what action is right at any moment in time. Timing becomes everything, but in a way that the objective, physical mind cannot possibly comprehend. Intuition feeds synchronicity. So the experience of time, with its expansions and contractions, takes on more importance than the fixed pace of the outer world's objective time. Higher consciousness adds more abilities to the ones we have already developed. Intuitive perception leading to perfect synchronicity is a perfect example of the growth that awaits us as we step into the new reality.